Texas homeowner chases down and fatally shoots man who stole his BBQ pit. He claims that he was fearing for his safety. A Texas homeowner chased down and shot dead an alleged thief who stole a BBQ barbecue pit from his property over the weekend. The deadly confrontation took place in the city of Humble when an unidentified man attempted to drive off with the barbecue pit, leading the homeowner to pursue him in his own vehicle. Harris County Sheriff, y'all. The owner caught up with the accused thief and his passenger a short distance from the house. When he got out of the car and approached the pair, the sheriff said, the homeowner, who was, quote unquote, fearing for his safety, fired off, quote unquote, several rounds towards the suspect because he thought his counterpart was reaching for a firearm. The alleged thief was pronounced dead at the scene. The other individual who was with the deceased man was not hit by gunfire and not facing any charges. What do we not do accomplices anymore? Guilty by association? No, we don't do that anymore. Quote unquote. The homeowner cooperated with investigators and provided a detailed statement about the incident. And it says once the investigation is complete, the case will be turned over to the Harris County District Attorney's Office for presentation to a grand jury. Now, listening to that, I was just kind of looking at it like this. You know, you go to someone else's thing, their property, you go and steal their stuff. You died pretty much because you stole a barbecue pit. But some people were kind of like, I don't know how I feel about this because of the kind of use of force. Okay. Was this amount of force excessive? Now, he said he was fearing for his life. And, could he have actually been fearing for his life? Sure. Could he also have just said that so it could justify him shooting? Sure. Am I for one over the other? Definitely, but I do have 3 comments that I actually want to show you all. And the first one says, so there's a reply to this comment. Okay. I think I'm gonna just put one up on the screen at a time. Okay. And it's going to be a reply to this one. But the first comment says, most of the people on the site will probably hate me for saying this, but based on what I read in this article, that was not a justified use of deadly force. I understand that the shooter's anger and frustration, but he put himself in that position. I understand the shooter's anger and frustration, but he put himself in that position. I don't know how. Let me know. He should have followed the people as long as he could without getting into a confrontation. Call 911 gave a great description, but should not have engaged because a barbecue grill is not worth defending his life and finances over. Now, if he confronted them on the property and they were reaching for a gun, that's a different story altogether. Well, who's to say that maybe that wasn't something that happened? Nonetheless, everyone thinks you can shoot someone, justified or not, and life will go on as usual. That's a fallacy. Shooting someone drains your finances, your emotional state, and causes anxiety about your future. And here is a reply to that comment. And this person says, respectfully, that line of thinking is why criminals thrive in certain states/cities. Okay? You're placing the entire onus of the bad actor's actions on the victim. And that's by saying, well, you shouldn't have followed them. I mean, that's on you, man. It's like, okay. The mentality that law-abiding people somehow waive their right to defend themselves and their property in the hope that the government will swoop in and save them is dangerous. And in some states, and I believe in Texas as well, certain property is, you could use certain amount of force if someone takes certain property. Like if someone takes your car, for example, okay, you can't, you could shoot them. Okay. That's a fallacy. Indeed, that's why Texas expressly precludes bad guys from taking legal action against their victims unless the victim response is wildly unreasonable. The report here does not provide enough detail to make the determination. However, the fact that the victim did not leave the scene, nor was he arrested, is telling. Yeah, I find that to be very interesting. All right, and then I have one last comment. It says, this is what happens when people think they can take whatever they want with no repercussions. Crime victims start taking matters into their own hands with bad outcomes. It is what it is, you know. I'm not saying I'm for or against per se, but I understand because at the end of the day, I work hard for the stuff that I got. Okay. I don't have much, and I'm fine with, I'm content with what it is that I have, my personal possessions, etc. I'm content with my car that I have. I'm content with my flute that I have. I'm content with my bike helmet that I have. I don't want you coming to my house, breaking in or whatever, and stealing the stuff that I worked hard for. Okay? There's a whole quote that's up in Bronx Tale. Y'all should watch it with Robert De Niro. It's a really great movie. And it was essentially talking about how it's harder when you work a 9 to 5 because you got to deal with all the BS. It's easier to just be out on the street and be a criminal. That's really what it is. Go sell your drugs and go and do all that. Yeah, you know, you got about 3 hours worth of work for the day. Yeah, you made more money, but you got a lot more on you now. Mentally, emotionally, physically, you got to be, you know, turning your head left and right and all that kind of stuff. But in all realness, the real work, the real struggle, the real testament is you being able to go to that 9 to 5 job, whatever it is, and stick to it for a long time. That's what really is the determining factor. Not you over here, oh, I just sold some drugs. Oh, yes, you know, not that kind of stuff. Oh, I just stole a barbecue pit. Oh, yes, I just victimized some people. That kind of stuff is easy. The real struggle, the real determining factor is whether or not you can do honest work for X duration. But let me know what you all think about this story down below.